Welcome back to stage 2, where we have seen a real selection of top quality games today. No more so than the previous two. Ryan Searle beating Callum Ridds in a last leg decider, and then probably the performance of the weekend so far from Jermaine Watamina in sweeping aside Ryan Joyce 6-2. He is certainly a man in form right now. Up next, we have got Martin Schindler, the German #1, who has won more stage titles than floor titles, but did break his floor duck earlier this year in Hildesheim. Schindler's next step is to make his mark in a major tournament. Got all the talent in the world, has the wall. He was victorious yesterday up on the main stage against Michael Smith. It wasn't his greatest performance, and he was up against a Michael Smith who was carrying a bit of pain, a few injuries as he was limping around the main stage. Obviously, we know the travails that he's been going through of late. So Schindler was able to take full advantage of that. He goes up against Nick Kenny of Wales. A man who had a real burst towards the back end of last year. He was too strong for Neil Zonneveld. In something of a surprise result, maybe not as far as an upset, but it was a surprise. Will he surprise us again, Paul Nicholson, against the German #1?
We're about to find out. I was surprised that it wasn't more difficult for Nick Kenny to get through Niels. This is a similar type of game.
100.
He's up against someone on an upward trend, but maybe Schindler's upward trend is not as steep as we expected from Zonneveld. I think there's more pressure on Schindler. Not just because he beat Michael Smith yesterday, but because he's won 3 stage titles on the European Tour. You know how it works in this sport, Dan? If you win on the floor, people expect you to win in the European Tour. If you win on the European Tour, they expect you to win in places like this. So, ... what happens next?
The normal steps of progression in darts are win on the floor, win on the European Tour, win on the major stage. Schindler's got those mixed up at the minute.
60.
Number 16 seed here for this weekend.
I think the biggest victory for Schindler recently was that 5-4 victory against Stephen Bunting at the Slam.
58.
I think it was just vindication of good form against a great player like Bunting. And the way he celebrated that victory at the end on the stage, it told you how much frustration he's been garnering and holding in for the last few months. He let it all out.
He's a yelper on stage, is Schindler.
60.
Is that the word in German or is that English?
I'm going to go English. It could be a cognate, both English and German. Good setup from Kenny, leaves double 12.
Yeah, that one was a thinker for referee George Noble. This might be a bit more like what we're used to. A bit more conventional, but he doesn't even find the single 20.
50.
And almost submits to the fact that he's going to be 1-0 down.
That was a poor dart from Schindler. No real excuse in that situation. Simply needed to aim high.
18.
However, Kenny's let him off the hook.
Martin, you require 40.
No problem whatsoever.
Martin Schindler.
And before we go any further, of course, this is going to be the last Players' Championship Finals for referee George Noble, as he does his farewell tour, which will be here and at the Palace.
100.
Not to mention John McDonald as well. I get the feeling that that World Final on January 3rd is going to be a bit of a tearjerker. Doesn't matter who's in the final. The fact that that is going to be John McDonald's last call. I remember when he walked Phil Taylor out in 2018 Championship. It was a different atmosphere because we knew that was going to be Phil's last one. It's going to be a double whammy. It's going to be George's last and John's last.
And I'm sure George will play his part in the final.
57. $60.
I'm not even sure if there's a clear favourite in this game. Now, based on reputation and what they've won, you'd go for Schindler.
58.
But I don't think he's in the white-hot form that he was in the middle portion of last year. I just don't see it.
He's not sparkling as often, is he?
45.
He's still doing enough to pick up results here and there.
I think every now and again he'll stick in a ton plus average, like he did
79.
at the European Championship when he beat Dave Chisnell 6-5. That was a great performance. But every big performance like that just seems to have a dip afterwards.
56.
If he plays the same way like he did against Michael Smith yesterday, I get the feeling Nick Kenny's going to be a lot closer to him.
It's about bringing his best game to the TV stage.
You require 60.
It's been mainly early exits for Schindler in 2025. That's a happy accident. Double 10 now for Kenny. Oh, he was walking. He thought it was in. They could
40.
not be much closer to the intended target.
148.
Problems for Kenny. Tops.
108.
As soon as you get those two trebles, you think this is mine. But it wasn't close, unfortunately, for Martin.
Well, this side of the board is not being kind to Kenny. How do you get past that? Just like that.
He made that look a lot easier than it was. That was a horrible angle. I think the yelp afterwards was more out of frustration
96.
than happiness of hitting the double 10.
Winner of this takes on the winner of the concurrent game on the main stage. Gerwin Price and Sebastian Białowski. 1-0 to the pole, but very early stages, of course.
140.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago, Price playing against Ratajski on the stage in this tournament after he'd won the Grand Slam, and it was a very loud affair. If you're playing Białowski, you're going to get nothing coming back.
125.
Well, these guys have played each other 3 times, and Nick Kenny's got a 2-1 lead in their head-to-head. But this is their first meeting on any kind of stage. Their one meeting in 2025 went the way of Kenny by 6 legs to 5. And I think Martin would like to forget how he performed in that game. Averaged 81.5. I do enjoy watching players who use old school style equipment. It feels like Nick Kenny's been using this setup for many years. And I would love to see his darts collection at home. As in how many sets of these stems he's got, how many sets of these flights he's got.
60. Martin, you require 44.
I don't think he's got a spare set of darts.
You can count them on one hand. Double top. Double 10.
34.
I think the quality in this game has been a bit lacking, but maybe we've been spoilt in the last 2 games. This is not necessarily a poor game, it's just not as good as the previous 2.
On the third leg, Martin Schindler.
Back in the lead without playing his best. Sometimes you've just got to go through the mud and get to the other side. And in the back of the minds of these players,
60.
they do know that if they win that first game, they've got another one to come, so they're going to have to go through all of their prep again.
Yes, it's these major tournaments that are crammed in over the course of one weekend must be really taxing on players' stamina.
Used to be very different, of course, when it was only 32 players in the tournament. You'd play once
57.
on Thursday or Friday, once on Saturday, 3 times on Sunday. So it was like a Euro Tour. Although a Euro Tour, you have to play 4 times.
135.
But nowadays, you've got to play once on a Friday, twice on a Saturday, and 3 times on a Sunday to win the tournament. It's harder than it's always been.
95.
Because the format's the same as it has been for the last few years, but the players are getting tougher to topple.
$58.
This game right now is like yesterday's bread. It's been left on the counter and it's a bit stale. But even stale bread can be turned into something wonderful.
So is that a bread and butter pudding shot from Schindler?
I'll go with that. That sounds nice. Let's see if he's got some sprinkles for the top.
60.
And for the second consecutive day, Nick Kenny's got a wobbly stem. Bullseye for Shindy.
59. Nick, you require 89.
Kenny should at least get a look at the same target. Indeed he does. Bullseye. Pins it. Nick Kenny levels the game up. He's not playing well at all. He's averaging sort of around 79, but he's sticking in.
There's plenty of time to get moving, is what you're saying, Dan. And that's exactly what Gezi Price is doing on the main stage, averaging nearly 110 against Białowski, and is now 2-1 to the good. Small matter of Littler against Ross Smith to come on the main stage.
60.
And we've got Pietreczko against Anderson. Someone's got to take this game by the scruff of the neck, the same way that Jermaine Watamina did in the previous one. Get a good leg in, or even start before thinking that. Start getting some first darts in the right spot. Let the confidence build. And if your opponent doesn't do the same, you could be in the distance in very, very quick time.
59.
It very much depends on the mentality of the player as well. Because some players are happy going leg for leg and then taking it to the last 3 legs or even the last leg decider. But there are others who are so hungry to speed up and get some distance that they're able to switch it on and go. That's what's known as the Littler effect these days when he goes 5-0 down.
He goes 5-0 down. By no means is he out of the game. You put him at evens. He's so good at finding those bursts.
Yeah, nobody has had a sprint finish in darts better than Littler. Maybe not even Van Gerwen. Nicely up from Martin.
88.
Didn't even think about the ball. Why would you?
$60. Martin, you require
Nick
40.
Kenny's not happy with how he's playing. I don't think Schindler will be too impressed. But he is ahead. Could be 5-0 up. He has missed doubles in the legs that Kenny has won.
$60.
And Nick is at the thickest end of the stick in this tournament that he has been. First round loser last year to Michael Smith. He wanted revenge, of course, but Schindler put pay to that match.
57.
If you can't get revenge, be vengeful to someone else. The Germans and the Welsh have had great battles over the years. I indeed do remember when Price played Schindler at the World Cup, and Price averaged 117 to set a personal best.
58.
But that's an even shorter format than this.
First to four back then, wasn't it?
Indeed. We don't even have singles anymore.
140.
But it is quite amusing that Martin Schindler's got a better personal best than Gezi Price. His is over 120.
That was at Q School, wasn't it?
Yep. Sure was.
45.
Back when Schindler didn't even have a card.
161.
He hasn't looked back.
Nick Kenny's averaged in the 110 range before at Q School as well.
89.
There are serious levels to his game. The problem that players that are ranked where Kenny is, they don't produce it often enough on any given day. They can beat the top boys.
Well, Players' Championship events are a really good indicator of form, because if you're not seeded, you might run into a Schindler in round one, or a Price, or a Littler. Okie doke.
60.
Finds himself on double six. Could be worse.
Schindler has to get two big trebles to find a finish. He's got three, and Kenny's under huge pressure to hold his throw.
12.
Awkward again.
Nearly a double 10.
He's on the sixth flag.
But then again, it's 3-3.
Flag Martin to throw.
That was seriously close to busting the effort and giving Schindler a real free hit. Price is extending his lead against Białecki. 4-1 now to the Welsh number 2. I wonder how much longer that's going to be the case. Because with Clayton going out yesterday, he's at number 5 in the world provisionally. Danny Nobbert's up to number 6.
60.
Schindler, who's already the highest ranked German player of all time, is now projected to be number 13. That could change. It's not official,
140.
provisional.
125.
Speaking of national rankings, I wonder if Nick Kenny in time might be eyeing up that Welsh World Cup spot. There is still a lot of mileage, obviously, in
100.
Darwin Price and Johnny Clayton, but if, for whatever reason, they can't play, I do believe Nick Kenny's the next in line.
Yeah, Jim Williams was playing with Johnny Clayton last year, wasn't he?
161.
But that number 3 spot on the bench is very much up for interpretation. Yet again, didn't even think about going for it.
130.
Absolutely fine. You don't necessarily want to leave 31 because it restricts the amount of options that you've got. Now, Shindy does love tops. But the good thing about hitting the ball is it does take you onto a 2-darter, just like the 25 would.
Yeah, you don't want to leave 31, but you do want to leave single to double. Gets that part spot on. And gets the double right as well.
And one of the benefits of stage 2 as well is because it's a bit more intimate. We can hear what these players are grunting and saying to themselves when they're winning legs like that. Schindler was working so hard for this one right now. It's not coming easy. Ross Smith, who's got Littler next on the main stage, is the next person that Schindler's trying to overtake in the world rankings. Now, if Schindler were to win the tournament, for example, he'd be top 5.
48.
There's not that much between the number 16 spot and the number 4 spot. In fact, it's only about 150,000 points. This time of year, that's nothing. So Rob Cross is provisionally going to be number 16 come Monday morning. That's interesting, isn't it? He could be in the same quarter of the draw as Luke Littler at the Worlds.
Yeah, the number 16 and 17 seed, it's been the biggest poison chalice over the years. I know Chris Mason's spoken a lot about being in that position and always having to run into Phil Taylor.
133.
As soon as Schindler has gone 4-3 up,
85.
he has lost his scoring boots again.
This is the kind of game where Schindler knows he only has to do it on his own throw.
58.
Doing it here when Kenny's throwing would be a bonus, but he's just taking care of his own business. So is Nick Kenny. Levels the game up at 4-all.
Yeah, but there is a risk, isn't there? He could have 10 holes of throw, then you can be broken in the last leg, like a game we had yesterday.
Just ask Wessel.
60.
Yeah, I'd maybe leave him alone today.
I think he'll be extra irritated by the fact that Richard Veenstra, who beat him, didn't win a leg against Nathan Aspinall. 6-0 was the margin of score. Gerwin Price has beaten Sebastian Białecki, so the winner of this will know who they're up against.
So that means that whoever wins this is going to be on the main stage, because Price will be on the main stage tonight.
100.
100% if it's Schindler. If it's Nick Kenny, it will depend on the other fixtures
100.
potentially.
I think being the number 1 seed as well gives that extra lustre. And a Welsh derby, it would be as well.
I'm questioning myself here. I don't know what I'm doing. Of course it's going to be a main stage game.
82.
Well, advantage Kenny all of a sudden. He's only 2 points behind. Well, he was. He is vastly in front now. What a great time to get a maximum.
190.
Now Schindler is up at altitude and he's finding it hard to breathe.
Nick Kenny's averaging 85, which is below what you'd expect anyone playing in this tournament. He's had 4 matches.
Nicky Ricoeur, 81.
That single 11 is heavenly to Nick Kenny. Means he's got all the time in the world to take care of 81. And that is more than adequate. This is the kind of game that a lot of people think that Schindler should win. But he could lose it. Biggest start of the match right now.
No score.
It's way too far north. Martin Schindler is blessed.
Nick Kenny had 3 darts in hand to break Schindler in the very first leg of the match. He squandered his opportunity. He squandered that one. Will he be made to pay?
Shown a 9 flag, Martin Schindler. 10 flag.
Do we need to say any more?
I'm not saying anything. I think he said it all. Can't translate it. But the volume and the veracity told everything.
Opportunity missed by Nick Kenny.
60.
He had that leg in the palm of his hand. He was on 81. Schindler was on 171. 6 darts from a 2-dart position, and he wasn't able to close it.
140.
That could be the sole reason why he loses this game.
Loses this game and maybe misses out on a £3,500 jump in prize money.
180.
Has found the 180 power in recent legs. That's 3 and 3.
93.
Yeah, he doesn't need that newfangled technology with the tungsten and the stuff above it to find maximums. He's very much an old school player, is Nick Kenny.
100.
I think he's channeling his emotions very well here. Schindler's on 268 again, and he might not get to a finish. Isn't going to.
38. Nicky record 161.
This has felt like a last leg shootout game all game until probably the start of this leg.
85.
Now what are you going to leave, Martin? Okay, this is a very interesting situation now.
It was 76.
Double 8 for Nick Kenny. Has to hit this. He has to hit this. And doesn't come close on double 4.
Martin, you require 50.
Nick Kenny could have won this game by now, but he might just lose it. Only one at tops. Martin Schindler, how have you done that?